On this, the third day of the tournament, we're going to focus on what's going on the football pitch. We're going to take a look at two matches, a boy match and a girl match. The first match that we look at is a boys game between Lincroft School from England and Bygdøy Monolitten from Norway. After the game, we got to talk with the players and the coaches.
I think this was a great game. We finally played as we wanted to play, as we could play. So it was a great game.
The boys did really well. It's always they have a lot of nerves. You come here, there's a lot of teams, all the countries that they love. Brazil's here, England's here, and the teams they played against, Sweden, Denmark. And so for them, every match is like playing in the World Championships, right? Every match is. So when they play against them, who are we meeting tonight? England, and then they have so many ideas about that, and that's fantastic. So the kids, for them, just that feeling. But they have a lot of nerves, and I think they just played better and better each match, and that was kind of nice to see when they started to understand. Hey, we can play with England. Hey, we can play with these clubs, and that was nice to see the way that they opened up, and the team just really gelled in a very nice way. They came together in such a kind of great way. They started to have more confidence with each other and with themselves, and the football just really started to shine. The last match was brilliant. They played incredibly well.
Both the Norwegian players and the Norwegian coach was very happy with the game. Maybe that's because they won 4-0. So of course the English team wasn't so happy.
We didn't play very well as a team, but hopefully next time we'll be able to play better.
What do you think of the games you've played so far?
I think we're doing quite well, except we haven't worked as a team that well and we've lost quite a few of them.
The boys are understandably upset. Okay, they didn't play up to their standards, and they do set high standards. But I think the other team we played were excellent. They kept the ball really well, made us chase the ball, and we didn't really get into our stride at all from start to finish. And that was the most disappointing thing, really.
It's coming straight back at us.
But just because the boys from England lost their match, that doesn't mean that the coach is going to yell at them. They use a system where the players themselves give each other feedback.
I just felt that a game like that, they already know they've played poorly, and I didn't want to go at them and hammer them for it because they know themselves they've played badly. So I just got them to reflect on their own performance and how they feel as though they could have improved it. And it was interesting to see some of the lads that felt they didn't play well, but in fact they did. They worked hard, they did what they needed to. But I just didn't really want to hammer them and get their confidence down. I wanted them to understand that yes, they play poorly, but there's areas to improve all the time. So
one reason for the result could be that the English boys were a bit smaller than the Norwegian boys.
How much does size matter?
More stronger. They got a bit much more strength than me.
Do you agree?
Depends. Sometimes it can be an issue because sometimes they could be bigger and more broad than us, but sometimes it don't matter because they could be slow and weak, so you could get past them.
But the English coach may not agree with the boys that size matters.
Have to an extent, but I think it is because a lot of them are playing up an age group, so they're finding the size and they're finding the strength quite difficult, and I think they're being overawed by some of the bigger lads. But I've tried to explain, they don't need to. The smaller lads, Iniestas, the Xavis, the Messis, they're all small. If you keep the ball, it doesn't matter how big an opposition is, how big your opponent is, you pass around them. But I think it's taken them a little while to get used to it, and hopefully in the next coming years it'll be a learning curve for them and they'll go on to realise that it doesn't matter about size, they can play around them, but fingers crossed.
Another reason for the outcome of the game could be that the Norwegian team played Barcelona-style football.
Yeah, that's what that's our goal. We've been a little bit different because I think a lot of these kids they've been playing football since they were small, and I think there's been a lot of focus on winning. There's been a lot of focus on let's say how they're doing in the series. And for us, we invested until they were 13 years old just in technique, just in the pure basic skills that each player has.
Even though the boys are young and the football mostly is fun and games, the mental game is very important.
Their confidence is so delicate. If you hammer into them early and get on their back, then that's it. They're gone for the rest of the game. You've really got to try and keep boosting them, keep their confidence up, and they'll start to play. They'll play for you if they're being told that they're playing well, they're doing the right things. If you start getting on their back, they suddenly just turn into a different player, and it's not the player that we're used to seeing. So yeah, it's a massive thing psychologically.
No matter the results, both teams have had a lot of fun here in Denmark.
It was a great time. We played 5 matches, and we're play good, and it's fine. Great weather. A little to wind. Much wind.
I enjoy playing in CupDenmark. The football's good, and it's a good time to play with your teammates.
The CupDenmark is meant to be fun, but in football there is often a winner and a loser. But to lose can also be a very good learning experience.
I think they've learned that every game's not easy. A lot of these boys play on a Sunday and they win 6-1, 7-1 every week, and they think that's how football is. They come to play teams like the lads we've just played, and they realise that they're not the best in the world by any stretch of the imagination, just like the English team. And I think that they realise that there's a lot of football they've got to learn. They don't know everything, they think they do, but they don't learn everything, and they need to understand there's a lot to learn before they get to 21, 22. And every single game they play, they should be pulling something out that they can take into their game and adapt for the next game.